Hello everyone, Daria here, and welcome to episode number 73 of the Slow Russian Language Podcast. Today's episode is gonna be a little bit unusual. It will be in English, but I'll explain in a minute. And in the ending, I want you to listen to a wonderful song about the heroes of the Great Patriotic War. It's one of my favorite songs and always given me goosebumps, and I have no words. Just listen to it and read the lyrics in the show notes. So why I've decided to record this episode like this? A couple of days ago, I had a very unpleasant conversation with a person from the United States, and he was blaming modern Russia and me personally in particular, as if I'm personally responsible for what's going on. So he was blaming us Russians that we care about this Victory Day for no reason, that it's all about propaganda. It's brainwashing, you are like robots, you don't understand what's going on, and blah blah blah. It made me so angry and frustrated, and so I just decided to spend several minutes explaining to you why this holiday is so important, because it is really important for us. I don't know about other nations, but in Russia, it's the biggest holiday. It's very important. For modern people, for today's people, it's very difficult to understand the suffering that the Soviet Union went through during that war. Usually, we just deal with the chronicles on TV. We can read some stats that this country lost this amount of people, this country lost this one, and those are just numbers. Those are just numbers, they don't affect your emotions, but when you think about it a little bit deeper, when you try to imagine what was going on, it's a completely different level of understanding. When I say that Russia lost about 40 million of people in that war, and it's the number that official stats give today, they started with 7 millions in 1940s, then they said that actually it was 20 million, then it was 30, and today they say that it's 40 million of people who died during that war. But still, it's kind of not emotional. But try to imagine 100 of 20 years old boys and girls, 120 years old, and 3 of them survived that war. Only 3 of 100 came back alive. Can you imagine that? Every single family in Russia, I want to emphasize it, every single family, each family has relatives, has ancestors who died in that war. In my family, I mean close relatives, 3 people died in Leningrad, in Stalingrad. In my husband's family, about 5 people died. I don't mean the distant relatives. I mean people like grandfather or maybe grandfather's brother. So people that are close to you. And every Russian family lost someone. So can you imagine? Just think about all the families around yourself, maybe your brother's family, maybe your classmates' family, all your neighbors, and imagine that each family loses their son or their father or their daughter or maybe all of them. They just disappear. In nearest 5 years, they just die. So it helps you to imagine how many people died there. For so many people today, especially for young people, it's so difficult to imagine what a real war is and what a tragedy it is. And thank goodness that for most of us it's difficult to imagine. And I really, really hope that we and our children and our grandchildren will not have to experience this hell. And today, for many people, especially young people, especially from Australia, from the the United States who are far away from here, it's very difficult for them to understand why it's so important to us. It's important because it happened right here. It's not like there was some regiment of soldiers or maybe it was some trained army that was sent somewhere to the front line, and the war kind of is important, but it's actually far away from you. Yes, you are worried for your people, but they are on the different continent, and yeah, it is important, but it's still not like somebody's gonna come to your house tomorrow and hang your kids in your front door and burn your house and rape all your daughters. And that's what was going on here. The Nazi Germany army was in 27 kilometers from here, like 20 miles from where I'm standing right now in Moscow. They were 27 kilometers from here. And Hitler had very concrete plans about the Soviet Union and about Slavic people in particular. There should not be any misunderstanding here. It wasn't like Napoleon coming to Russia and being mostly merciful and communicating with Russian nobility in French. And here it was absolutely different. It was a massacre. And you would never understand it if you judge these events only by watching television, even if it's chronicles, or reading through statistics, or reading through historical articles. You would never understand. I mean, you will understand. You will understand the facts and why and what happened, but you would never feel it. And until you can't feel it personally, you wouldn't be able to understand it. And I was lucky enough to talk to several people who survived that war. Unfortunately, most of them passed away already, so we don't have this chance anymore. We don't have this ability to share this experience with people who really were there. So it's not like historians writing about this today. Those were the people who did that, who were there, who saw everything with their own eyes. So it's our last chance today because so few of them are still alive. So it's our last chance to speak to them, to analyze this human tragedy. And from them, I heard terrible stories. I heard the stories that make your blood cold and your hair stand. It's just, I don't know, thank goodness today it's difficult for us even to imagine what was going on. I remember when I was at school, a grandfather of one of my classmates came to us on the Victory Day and he shared his story. The Nazi Germany army came to his village. There were about, I don't remember, probably 200 villagers living there. And the German army came and they closed all the villagers in a large barn and they burned them alive. And he survived somehow. His parents helped him to run and hide. He was a kid and he hid there and he couldn't stand being alone in the forest. So he ran back and he saw that barn burning and he told us about the screams that he was hearing and nothing he could do. He was just a small kid. And his whole family burned there. His parents burned there. His grandparents burned there alive. And he was watching it. And by the time when he was telling us this story, he was an old man already. He had his own family and his grandchildren. And he said that still, he could not sleep. He would wake up at night and scream. And he's been through several doctors and tried to overcome this, but still, his whole life, being an old man, he still couldn't overcome this pain that he suffered when he was a kid and lost his whole family. So waking up at night and screaming through his whole life. And when you speak to those people, then you start to understand, what happened, what a human tragedy it was. And you never can understand it when you read the same story in a book or you see the story on TV. Only when you speak to this person, you can feel it. You can understand it. So why is it so important to us Russians today? Because it's not just a history of our country. It's a history of each family. It's our personal history. Because again, I'm telling you, each and every family lost sons, lost fathers, lost wives, lost daughters. So it's in our whole nation. So it's not about propaganda. It's not that we are brainwashed. It's about our personal tragedy in each and every family in Russia today. And that is why it is so important. So next time when you hear somebody speaking about how crazy today's Russia is, about this whole World War II, and how stupid we are that we go on those parades and we show our tanks on the Red Square, that it's just our kind of, being all militarized, let those people know that it's not about that. It's about our personal human tragedy in each family. So I really hope that today's episode will help you to think about this holiday in Russia in a little bit of a different level, a little bit of a different point of view. And in the end, I want you to listen to one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite movies. It's The Officers. And I will put the lyrics in the show notes. You can read them both in English and in Russian. And I really, really hope that you enjoy. And thank you again for staying with me for so long. Happy Victory Day. And if you have any questions, if you have maybe any story of your family to share with me, I will be very happy to hear from you. You can contact me at daria@realrussianclub.com. Also, don't forget to check out my YouTube videos about Victory Day, the one from the last year and the one from this year. I took a video from the monuments dedicated to Battle for Moscow. So I guess that's it for today, and thank you very much for listening. I hope to see you in the next episode of the Slow Russian Language Podcast. Bye-bye.
От героев былых времён не осталось порой имён. Те, кто приняли смертный бой, стали просто землёй, травой. Только грозная доблесть их поселилась в сердцах живых. Этот вечный огонь нам завещанный одним, мы в груди храним. Погляди на моих бойцов, целый свет помнит их в лицо. Вот застыл батальон в строю, снова старых друзей узнаю. Хоть и мне 25, трудный путь им пришлось пройти. Это те, кто в штыки поднимался как один, те, кто брал Берлин. Нет в России семьи такой, где б не памятен был свой герой. И глаза молодых солдат с фотографий увядших глядят. Этот взгляд словно высший суд для ребят, что сейчас растут. И мальчишкам нельзя ни солгать, ни обмануть, ни с пути вернуть.